You probably haven't heard of these AI use cases that I'm about to show you. First, let's start with shopping and deals. These are use cases that I have actually been using. Let's say you're very familiar with one product and you need to find something that's comparable and to compare them. This happened to me. I have had a Dyson vacuum that has been broken for years, so I wanted something else. I wanted a comparable vacuum from a different brand. So here we go. What's a comparable vacuum to Dyson cordless? Short, simple, and look what it gave me. So what to look for: battery runtime, suction power and floor head compatibility, filtration, weight versatility, and it gave me some options. These Shark vacuums, these are cordless, they look almost identical, and it says the Shark brand are higher quality. Here it gives me a breakdown of why I should choose Shark or these other options over those Dyson vacuums. It asked me some follow-up questions. If you tell me your budget and main flooring type, I can pick 1 to 2 best fits for you. And I just said the Dyson broke all the time. And so it focused on product quality. So it told me Shark, Stratos, cordless, and I ended up getting the corded version, but I got a Shark. And by the way, if you want 100 more use cases for artificial intelligence, you need to download our brand new guide, 100 use cases for AI. It is completely free. All you need to do is subscribe to our newsletter. I will drop the link down below. Go get it right now for free. Next, one of the most frustrating things is buying an Apple product and then a week later, the new refresh comes out and you're kind of just out of luck. The best time to buy any product is when the most recent refresh occurs, and that is especially true with Apple. So you simply ask it, hey, I'm on the market for a MacBook Air and I want to know what's the best time to buy. When was the last Air model release? How big a step increase was it from the last generation? When do you expect another new model? And when will it be released? There used to be entire websites dedicated to knowing when to buy Apple products. And by the way, this doesn't just apply to Apple. This can apply to any company, especially ones that have very frequent releases. Here it asked me to clarify which Air size am I interested in and what chip am I interested in. But again, what I really want to know is when's the best time to buy the latest version. So it gives me an entire breakdown of the differences, the changes. I don't really want to read through this. I just want it to tell me, is it a good time to buy? And at the very bottom, for the buyer who prioritizes getting the newest Apple Silicon in the MacBook Air, you should purchase it right after the chip update, given the March 2025 M4 release and its clear advantages over the previous generations. Now is an excellent time to buy. And it even gives me its update schedule. So Apple typically updates the MacBook Air roughly once per year. The M2 was July 2022, M3 March 2024, and M4 March 2025. So the best time to purchase right now. And you can also ask it about discounts or special deals that they have. So here's one for an Aventon, which is an electric bike. Chances that Aventon will put the new Aventon Abound SR on sale for Black Friday this year. And it said, short answer, moderate to low chance, gets a real Black Friday price cut. My best estimate is 55 to 60% no discount, 30 to 35% small cut, and 5 to 10% meaningful promo. And it, of course, backs it up with information that it researched itself. Now let's move on to the category food and home. First is tech support. This is something that I use AI for all the time. So in this example, I didn't even take a picture. We have an Epson NX127, which is a printer, power and ink lights won't stop flashing. So it looked up the information, looked up the manual, and here we go. Ink cartridge recognition failure. 1 or more cartridges may not be seated correctly. Here, we continue to work back and forth with AI. I reinserted the cartridges and now both lights are solid. Solid power and ink lights on means it's stuck on an ink-related error. And so we went back and forth a number of times, ultimately solving the problem. Here's another example. My Apple TV keeps saying no signal after 5 minutes of watching. Common causes and fixes. HDMI handshake issue. Try a different HDMI port or cable. This is the first suggestion it gave me. I tried a new HDMI cord and it fixed it. So easy. All right, recipes is a very popular use case for AI. And one thing that I use it for is if I have a recipe and I don't have one item, I simply tell AI which items I'm missing and then ask what are good substitutions for it. So let me show you. Give me a recipe for salsa. So fresh salsa, pico de gallo, here's the recipe. And let's say you don't have one of these things. You can simply tell it, I don't have this ingredient, give me a replacement. Or you can even take a picture of your fridge or your cabinet, upload it and say, I don't have this ingredient, but what else from what you see can be substituted? So I said, I don't have white onions, only yellow. Will that work? Yes, yellow onions will work fine. They're a bit sweeter, so chop them finely and add a touch more lime or salt to balance. So you can really use it as a chef partner while you're cooking. All right, and next is animal identification. So this is actually one that I just used the other day. I just moved into my house and I found these gross little bugs on the floor in a few different places in my house. So I took a picture. Here's what that looks like. And I said, what bug is this? And that's a termite alati. These appear during swarming season, usually after rain or in warm weather. Now, as soon as I heard termite, I got very worried, but it did say it occurs after rain and it did just rain. So it's okay. And quickly, you can run most of these use cases locally on your computer. Let me tell you about it. Thank you to Dell Technologies for sponsoring this portion of the video. Dell's Pro Max family of PCs are incredibly powerful for AI workloads. Using the new Grace Blackwell series of NVIDIA GPUs, including GB300 and GB10. These are absolute monster GPUs in your desktop. Learn more about Dell Pro Max GB10 and GB300 and the Dell Pro Max lineup of workstations with NVIDIA RTX Pro GPUs. Click the link in the description below. Let them know I sent you. Check it out. The next category is productivity and organization. Let's get into it. As many of you probably know, I moved back to the Bay Area to be closer to tech and the AI industry. And as part of that, we want to build out a studio in San Francisco. And I'm starting to do some research on office leases and pricing. And of course, what a great use case for AI. So I took a specific building that I liked and I said, how much is 86 Graham Street, Suite 120 leasing price, Presidio, San Francisco? Now, the pricing was not published publicly. You actually have to call, and it knew that, but it asked me if I wanted to pull comps, which are comparables. So what are the prices of buildings that have been leased out in the area over the last 6 months, let's say. So we pulled comps and it gave me a bunch of options showing how much it is per square foot per year in different areas. Here, I asked for another specific address. Then I said, okay, give me the average price per square foot in different areas of San Francisco for office leasing. So here's the Peninsula, Financial District, Class B SF average, Class A SF average, and overall asking price average. So this is a great way to do deep research on real estate, not only for leasing office space, but also if you're renting your house, if you're buying a house, this is a fantastic way to get a sense of the market. All right, next, let's say you do a lot of the same work in a document each week, which we do at Forward Future. We prepare a document for every live show we do. By the way, live show every Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Pacific. Definitely check it out. Now, for that live show, we have this document and we've done it every single week. And it's kind of repetitive and kind of time consuming to create this document each time. So watch what we can do instead. So in Gemini, we're going to add from Google Drive. You find the documents, we can select a few of them. Then we're gonna hit insert. And now we're going to tell it to create kind of a template for going forward. So here are 3 similarly formatted documents where I track work we do to prepare for live shows. I want to create a new version formatted around a new approach. Please make the new version only cover these sections as we prepare for future shows. So in this example, we're taking our previous work and we're modifying the template for future documents. And at the end, we get it. We have it based on the previous documents with those changes that we just suggested. Another thing I've been doing a ton of recently is using ChatGPT to negotiate with my calendar. That sometimes means adding things to my calendar. Other times it means asking about my availability. Watch this use case, and then let me show you one more right after that is incredible. So please add 2 one-hour chunks, one in the morning, one in the afternoon that fit my calendar availability for me to have heads down work time. Add to Google Cal or give me links to add events. Now you can set up a ChatGPT connector directly to your Google Calendar, but sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes even though you say, hey, add this to my calendar, it says, well, I don't have a connection to it, even though you do. So the workaround to that is to simply have it create you a link with all the relevant information about the event you want to create, and then it'll just tell you to click on it, which is what we see here. So you're busy for the live show walkthrough. Here are 2 times that you're available. And then we can simply click on these links, which add the event directly to my calendar. All right, next in Claude, you can connect to Airbnb and actually search for your next trip with Airbnb through Claude. So find 5 options for Airbnbs in Hawaii the first week of January, starting January 2nd. I would like options that are modestly priced, are superhosts, have on-site parking, and it would be great if they have views of the ocean and not be too far from the beach. Please use the Airbnb connector. And it does. So here it found some options, gave me the prices, gave me the stars, and then it gave me its top recommendation. Now I can continue going back and forth, refining my search with Claude instead of having to go through the very manual search process on Airbnb. It's kind of like having a little travel booking assistant. And here's another incredible use case. I'm sure most of you have used Google Maps before, and it's great. You can search for restaurants, you can search for other locations, you can get directions. But what if you can go a little bit further? So here, show me a route from SF to Oakland. Totally normal stuff you could do with regular Google Maps. But now with Gemini plus Google Maps, look what we can do. I need to find a good Thai restaurant near my destination that isn't too noisy. Can you do some research, make some suggestions, and plot the options on a map? So it found the restaurants, gave me an atmosphere, rating, address, website, a bunch of different pictures from each of them, showed me where it is in an actual interactive map. And then you could say, okay, then put together the route, or, oh, I need to be at this other location. Am I gonna have enough time? And it's basically a really nice way to have a natural language conversation with your map. All right, next, you can connect Spotify to Claude. And you can control Spotify with Claude. So whether that means just in natural language asking it to skip a song, which is obviously very easy, but you can also ask it to put together different playlists for you, depending on your mood, depending on what kind of party you're having. So next Spotify song, please hit enter. It's thinking. Obviously, it's much faster just to hit next track in whatever Spotify app you're using, but it's cool to know you can do this. You can also give it kind of rough suggestions of what kind of music you want to hear. So maybe something more lo-fi, better for morning work. So it's going to research what type of music fit that filter. And so here we go. We can actually see the connector at work. It's saying, okay, play this playlist. You can deny, always allow, or allow once, and it just starts playing what you want. All right, next, Sora has been out for a couple weeks now. Hopefully you've played around with it, by the way. It is awesome, and you can use my likeness in Sora, so go ahead, have fun with it. But if you wanna know how to get the most out of Sora, we actually asked ChatGPT, what are the best practices for getting the most out of Sora? It did deep research. It put that all together for me. Really cool, but that's not all. What we actually were able to do with it is create a GPT, a custom GPT, which is essentially a reusable ChatGPT that always has context of what we gave it. And in this example, it is a Sora prompting GPT. So all you have to do is give this GPT a very rough description of what you want to create in Sora, and it will draft the perfect prompt for you. So here's an example. I want to make a prompt of Matthew Berman and Jonah Lipsett dancing in a field, giggling with balloons, and there we go. So it includes everything we need to create the perfect prompt for Sora. And if you want to know what that looks like, here it is. Now, if you notice here, it says www.forwardfuture.ai. By the way, that's our newsletter. If you haven't checked it out, please do. It is amazing. Keep up to date with all the latest news in the AI industry. But there's a reason it says that there. And I'm going to show you that next. So what you can actually do in Sora is kind of get free advertising. And the way to do that is to control how your likeness is used by others. Now, I simply said, promote forwardfuture.ai somewhere in the video. And that's what you're seeing. And actually, Mark Cuban was the first one to do this. Anytime somebody used his likeness, it would say something about Cost Plus Drugs, his company, somewhere on the screen. Kind of a fun way to not only let people use your likeness, but also get something out of it. All right, this next example is really cool. If you've ever wanted to try to envision what your dream house might look like, there are multiple steps in creating really cool kind of vision boards and videos of what that would be. So this is Gemini. We're using Nano Banana, prompt a breathtaking modern dream home perched on a rugged seaside cliff at golden hour, vast panoramic ocean views, and so on. And here is the first image it created, an absolutely gorgeous house. Then I said, show me the view directly out of the window from the living room. So same house, just a different view. What about the kitchen? Here that is. Is there a front yard? Sure. Main bedroom, main bathroom, downstairs vault where I store my Smurfs. Yes. And that's really cool, but what if we wanted to turn it into a real estate video showing off that property? Well, of course, we can do that. So in Google's Flow feature, which basically takes VO videos and ties them together so it's kind of a longer video with natural cuts, and it's really neat if you haven't used it. So I take the original prompt, I say no voiceover at the end, I set the aspect ratio, the outputs per prompt, and the model VO 3.1. And finally, I upload all of those images that I just created. And the result? Well, let me show you. There's some music and some sound effects in the background, but I'm not gonna play it, but we have this beautiful house and we get to see it from different angles, from different rooms. Obviously, there's still a little bit of issues with morphing and stuff like that, but I think this looks great and it's a great way to envision your dream house. All right, next, here's one that's kind of just for fun. You can see what you would look like at any age. So here I uploaded a headshot of myself, make me an image of this man as a young child. And there I go, although I had straight blonde hair, believe it or not. Then I said, make me an image of this man as a 99-year-old, and here we go. That's what that looks like. So try to imagine yourself at any age, quick fun one. Now here's another fun one that you can do with Google AI Studio. This is called Gemini Co-Drawing, and I'll drop a link to it down below. So you just start drawing like you would Microsoft Paint, and you can actually have it clean up your drawing, add things to your drawing, all while you are doing the drawing yourself. So here, make the head more circular and add ears. And there we go. Then I'm gonna continue drawing the stick figure, but I want it to be a little bit nicer than a stick figure. I simply tell it what I want and it will do that. So make the hands and feet look more like hands and feet. Let's see what it does. And of course, it is following the style that it's starting with. And there we go. So have fun with co-drawing in Google AI Studio. All right, and if you've not used Grok, you should definitely use it. It is the only model that has direct, unfiltered access to the X feed. And with that, you can do some incredible analysis of different trending topics. So please conduct some tweet trend analysis from last 6 months compared to previous 6 months regarding mentions of quantum computing breakthroughs. Include a graph and list of tweet examples. So it did a ton of research, included different posts from different times on different themes and how those themes trend over time. And it pulled out example tweets and it did some sentiment analysis right there. So great way to do research on whatever topic you want, whether for work or personal. And Google NotebookLM came out with a really cool feature that lets you animate a picture book based on any topic that you want. If you're not already familiar with NotebookLM, it allows you to upload any documents, PDFs, books, articles, anything, and NotebookLM will create an audio podcast with 2 people discussing whatever topic that you want to learn about. So here I'm taking a very complicated research paper about OCR. I uploaded it, then I'm gonna go down and we can actually create a video overview. So we select our style. We also explicitly say what we want the AI hosts to focus on. And here's the output. Let me show you.
Have you ever felt like you're in a fight with your computer, just trying to get it to understand a simple document? I mean, we've all been there. Well, what if I told you there's a new technology that's teaching computers to read not just the words, but the actual meaning and structure behind them? Today, we're going to dive into a genuinely smarter way for...
So I'm going to pause it. This is a 6.5-minute video with different visuals along the way, and you can either listen to it as an audio only or watch the images along the way. So I think this is really cool. If you want to see this example, I'll also drop the link to it down below. All right, next, you can get explanations of what a video is about. And by the way, this is done with ChatGPT Atlas and agent mode. So you do need a paid account just for this use case. But I'll show you another option where you don't, but watch this. We give it a video and we say, please watch this movie and find moments in which Sam Altman laughs or looks like he is about to laugh. Give me a list. So if I click into it, we can actually see ChatGPT Atlas working and watching through the video. So this is what it actually did. And they actually pulled out the timestamps of when he laughed or was about to laugh. Now, the other AI that is free and can kind of do something very similar is Gemini. Gemini is really the only model that I've seen where you can actually upload full videos and it will watch the video. It's not looking at the transcript. It's not looking at frames kind of interspersed throughout the video. It is actually watching it frame by frame through the whole video. So in Google AI Studio, you come in, you make sure you have Gemini 2.5 Pro selected, you come down here, you paste in the video, and as you can see, it immediately loads it up, starts extracting the videos, and since we have such a large context window to work with, I believe we can have up to a 30-minute or 40-minute video. This video of mine was 347,000 tokens out of 1 million context budget that we have, and we can ask any questions to it. So I can say, what color sweater is the host wearing? And again, that's a very simple example, but you can ask anything, even down to tiny little details in just a few frames of the video. You can ask anything. So from the beginning of the video until approximately 5:22, he's wearing a tie-dye hoodie with a mix of light blue, yellow, pink, and white. From that to the end, he's wearing a dark gray polo shirt. So there you go. Ask any question to any video. All right, and last, if you want to watch videos in any language, but you don't want subtitles, you just want instant translation, this is for you. So we're using the HeyGen video translate feature in Replicate. So we have this original video, Leonardo DiCaprio accepting his Oscar award, I believe.
The Revenant was a product of the tireless efforts of an unbelievable cast and crew.
Okay, that's cool. But what if you want it in another language? Here that is.
De este año por sus grandes actuaciones. El Renacido fue fruto del incansable esfuerzo de un elenco y equipo.
And not only is his voice actually translated to another language, but the actual mouth movement is synced with that new language. It is so impressive. So obviously for me, it allows me to take my videos and translate them into many languages with very little additional work. But if you want to take a movie or something else and you want to translate it into a different language just to enjoy and watch in your native language or a new language, you can do that as well. So those are all the use cases for today. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.